That's common sense for German people, but quite tricky for foreigners. Sometimes one train might not go to the same destination. She had a little bit of trouble because the police warned her that she should bring her, and the trial is only 3 months, and then when I realized it's already over, and I had to pay 1 year of subscription fee. Hello everyone, this is Cloris. How are you doing? Today I'm gonna share with you some mistakes that we should avoid in Germany because there are some laws and hidden rules that foreigners and travelers might not know, but it's really important to notice them so that you don't get into trouble or you don't get fined. Firstly, we'll see some common mistakes people make in the public transportation and some frequently used German words. Second, the 3-month cancellation rule. And thirdly, the policies in different German states. Lastly, Germany's public broadcasting fee. In my previous video, I've already mentioned that there are quite a lot of unexpected incidents when it comes to the transportation in Germany, no matter it's the S-Bahn or U-Bahn or ICE train for long-distance travel. The whole transport system is not quite reliable comparing to Switzerland or comparing to Taiwan or Hong Kong. So make sure that you know the followings before you come to Germany. First thing first, to check whether you have validated your ticket or not. For people who are new in Germany, it could be quite confusing because for some tickets you have to validate it with a machine next to the entrance. For other tickets you don't have to validate. Even for me it's quite hard to explain the whole thing. Even if you have bought the ticket but you haven't validated, it's still not valid and you will still get fined. And ticket checks are quite random, but it happens and it's really strict. Riding without a valid ticket could cost you 60 euros fine. It's quite tricky because for some S-Bahn, U-Bahn, I mean those undergrounds and metros, also trams, they don't have a gate, but you have to always remind yourself to validate the ticket before you take the train. Even though you are in a rush, you see the train is coming and leaving, you still have to validate it. Those machines for validating tickets are usually located right next to the escalator. It looks like this in my videos, so you can have a better idea how they look like and do not miss them. As ticket checks could be quite random and those inspectors are wearing just normal clothes, we can't really distinguish them from other people. Sometimes they have tattoos, they have pink hair, they're wearing hoodies or just a black jacket. They don't have a uniform, but then when they come to you, then they will show their work ID, then you know, okay, you get checked. Usually they work with 2 or 3 people in the same group and it's very hard to escape from them. And the second thing about transportation is that you have to respect the quiet zone. In fact, no matter whether it's a quiet zone or not, even if you are on the bus, on the train, you rarely hear German people talk very loudly for a very long time. Talking loudly in public transport could be considered really disturbing and annoying, so it's better to avoid that. And I know in other countries it's not an issue at all, but it's really a German thing to keep quiet in the public transport. And the quiet zone is called Ruhebereiche. And the third thing you have to be aware of when you're traveling with public transport is that sometimes one train might not go to the same destination. The carriage could be separated and go to different directions when they arrive certain stop. That means carriage 1 might go to destination A and carriage 2 might go to destination B. If you are on different carriage, you might end up at different places. So make sure that you pay attention to the screen and announcement. For example, in Munich the other day, I went to the airport by S1 when it comes to the stop called North Rhine, and then the train was divided into 2 parts. One part went to Freising, then the other part went to the airport. But on the screen you can see which carriage you are located and you can decide whether you have to move to the other carriage or you stay in the same carriage. The Deutschland ticket is a really nice offer, but we also have to be careful with it because with this Deutschland ticket we can also travel to Salzburg in Austria and other destination which is located on the border of Germany in another country. Salzburg is a really good example. The other day I was traveling with a group of friends and we went to Salzburg. When we took the train to return to Germany, we got police inspection. If you're a tourist in Germany and you have the passport, which is not a problem, but you are living in Germany, if you hold Aufenthaltstitel or you have Niederlassungserlaubnis, you have to take your passport with you when you travel to another country outside Germany. A friend of mine forgot to take her passport with her, but she is holding Niederlassungserlaubnis. She had a little bit of trouble because the police warned her that she should bring her passport with her when she traveled outside Germany. But this time the police was a little bit nice and friendly, so my friend didn't get fined, which is pretty lucky, but it's really a lesson for everyone. If you're coming to Germany, there are some German words that you should have learned. In my previous video, I talked about Zug fällt aus, which means train cancelled. And today I'm going to share with you a few more German words so that you know when you hear this or you see this, you know what happens. Another frequently used word is Verspätung. That means delay. In Germany, only around 60% of trains are on time. That means actually more or less half of the time trains are not on time. And sometimes on the app, it doesn't even show that it's delayed because within 10 minutes or something, it's not counted as delay. Everyone knows German railways is really a pain. And the third one you should learn is Gleis. That means platform. So in case there's a sudden change of platform, I hope you will know which platform you should go to. Last but not least, there's also another important tip. Be careful with the bike lane. I think for tourists, it's really hard to avoid it because people are not quite aware of the bike lane. They are just next to the pedestrian path. Sometimes people would stand there to wait for the change of traffic lights. For us, we are used to it, but for a lot of tourists, they might not notice that they are standing on a bike lane that could piss a lot of people riding on the bike in Germany. Besides the public transportation, there are also a lot of other rules that you might not notice, or that's common sense for German people, but quite tricky for foreigners. That is the 3-month cancellation rules. I think a lot of foreigners coming to Germany the first time might make the same mistake. So the 3-month cancellation rule is called Kündigungsfrist. It typically applies to contracts with automatic renewals, such as mobile phone contracts, internet subscriptions, gym membership, and even rental agreements. Many fixed-term contracts in Germany automatically renew for another term, usually 12 or 24 months, unless you cancel it at least 3 months in advance. For example, if your mobile phone contract ends on the 31st of December, then you have to cancel it before the 30th of September in order to prevent it from auto-renewals. And when you cancel it, you have to check out whether you can cancel it online or you have to send them a letter with your signature in black and white because sometimes phone cancellation or email cancellation are not effective. So make sure that you check out how to cancel it properly. While these terms sound like really tricky, there are some changes in law in 2022. German consumer protection law now requires that after the initial minimum term, contracts can only be extended month to month, making it easier to cancel. However, you still have to cancel it 1 month before the next extension kicks in. When I first came to Germany as a student, I saw this Bahncard-Probe, which is really attractive. I thought it would be nice to get this discount for the summer travel, so I just get this trial, which is pretty nice. However, the 3-month cancellation rules also applies to this case because I should have cancelled it when I first got the offer, and the trial is only 3 months, and then when I realized it, it's already over, and I had to pay 1 year of subscription fee for the next 12 months, which cost me around like 60 something euros for a student, which is quite a lot already. Even though these rules are really strict, there is also some special termination right. For example, when you sign a contract, you can revoke it within 14 days, but you have to be really careful when you sign any contracts. Also, some students might leave the country earlier than they expected, so they might have to cancel some contracts earlier. If you can show that you are leaving Germany by showing the Ummeldung certificate, then you might be able to get out of it. Alright, the next one. The third topic is German states. Germany is a federal republic made of 16 states. In German, it's Bundesländer. And each state has their own constitution, government, and significant autonomy. And unfortunately, Mallorca is still not the 17th state here. Don't get confused, even though you see a lot of German people in Mallorca. And this federal structure allows the states to set their own policy in certain areas. Different states have different curriculums, school types, grading system, and holiday schedules. For example, Bavaria here in Munich is known for its rigorous education standards, and while in Berlin they have a more flexible system. When it comes to public safety, each state has their own police force and internal ministry, and the law enforcement priority might differ. For example, policing protests and drug enforcement. I still remember vividly during COVID-19, each state has their own policy when it comes to lockdowns. That's how I realized how the whole system functions. And different states could have different health policies, including hospital fundings and public care campaign. For education, besides the school system, some states can also charge for tuition fee. For example, in Baden-Württemberg, some universities charge some tuition fee, and the other states like Niedersachsen, like Göttingen, I had my master's degree there, they still don't charge any tuition fee, they only charge the semester fees. And I heard from my friends that in Munich here, TUM started to charge tuition fee as well. One last interesting thing is that for each state, they have different holidays. For example, in Bavaria, we have more holidays than other states. In Hesse, they have the least holidays. And my friend works actually in Frankfurt, which is located in Hesse. And her colleague said that, yeah, they have less holiday because their belief is money. Each state can also have some specific holidays. For example, Berlin could have Women's Day. And personally, I have a very interesting experience because in the past 2 years, I used to work from home from Göttingen. And my company is located in Munich. My holiday schedule is according to my company schedule. And there was a time that I had holiday, but in Göttingen, people don't have the public holidays, so the supermarkets were still open when I had public holiday myself, which is quite a funny experience. And the last part is Germany's public broadcasting fee. It's a mandatory public broadcasting fee that funds Germany's public service media. This fee supports the radio, television, and online services provided by multiple broadcasting channels. For example, ARD, ZDF, Deutschlandradios, and other affiliated public service media. One tricky thing is that no matter you watch TV or not, you still have to pay this fee to support the broadcasting system. And the government collects one fee per household, and the cost is around 18 euros. Even if you have several people in one household, altogether you just have to pay 18 euros. For me, as a single person household, I also have to pay 18 euros per month. While in the past, I was living with other people, we could share the fee together. When we register a new address, we usually get a letter very quickly after Anmeldung, and we start paying the broadcasting fee for a new apartment. And this fee is usually billed quarterly. If I remember correctly, you can also choose to pay monthly or yearly. Personally, I pay quarterly. As 18 euros is more than Netflix subscription fee, I think I should really watch more TV, at least to learn German and make my payment worth it. But it's really not my habit to watch TV. That's it for today's sharing. If you find it helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will make more content about life in Germany and hidden rules in Germany. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!